Tens of suspicious containers get unpacked and inspected. It used to be easier to identify the counterfeits.
We used to see 5, 6, 7 containers of the same merchandise. Now what we see is that they mix some of their products, some of the counterfeits, with legit products as well.
With all the merchandise they confiscate, you could stock a whole store with fakes.
We have Prada, Chanel, Gucci, Betty Boop.
Customs and Border Protection Section Chief Peter Green says some of the fakes can hurt you. Take the counterfeit Duracell batteries.
It's possible for them to explode, which they have in the past.
The trend is picking up speed. Lev Kubiak directs Homeland Security's National Intellectual Property Rights Center.
Criminal organizations involved in the sale of counterfeit merchandise have really expanded into literally every name brand product out there.
Increasingly, the kinds of fakes making their way into U.S. retail is a safety issue. Kubiak says the feds have seized everything from counterfeit airbags that explode
to counterfeit pharmaceuticals that people are taking thinking that it's the real drug, but there's actually no active ingredient inside there, so absolutely no way for people to get better, even in such cases like cancer medication.
And counterfeiters have started to cut out the middleman and sell directly to U.S. consumers.
Criminals have begun to set up counterfeit websites that look and are designed to appear as if they're the legitimate retailers' websites, but are not.
When trying to avoid fakes, watch out for prices that are a lot lower than average, and check with the product's maker to confirm that a merchant is a trusted distributor. I'm Jeff Tyler for Marketplace.
And Quest Diagnostics has been looking through its huge cache of workplace drug test results over the years and finds that positive tests for illegal drugs are down dramatically over the last 25 years, especially tests for cocaine and marijuana. The Wall Street Journal got an advance look at the report due out later today. Last year, 3.5% of worker drug tests for illegal drugs came back positive, compared to more than 13% back in 1988. Now, it's possible people are getting more sophisticated in gaming the tests. Quest data also suggests that workers are abusing prescription drugs at a much higher rate these days. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.
Get the feel of wholesome refreshment with an ice-cold bottle of Coca-Cola, and you'll really feel better. When you look hot, feel hot, and are hot, pause, go to the refrigerator, and get an ice-cold Coca-Cola. You'll find it so refreshing. Everywhere and anytime, the game has an added zest when you pause for refreshment with an ice-cold Coca-Cola. It tingles with delicious taste. Coca-Cola is the favorite beverage in countless homes. Young and old, rich and poor, all enjoy its delicious taste. Ice-cold Coca-Cola quenches your thirst. Coca-Cola is pure, wholesome refreshment. Thirst asks nothing more.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you. It takes a lot to get 'em right when you're learning the facts of life. Learning the facts of life. Learning the facts of life.
Welcome back to Studio 17 on this Monday morning, and sounds like I've got a case of the Mondays, just a slight one, but I've got it straightened out, and now without further delay, here is the correct version of today's Across Our Wide Missouri.
This is Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty.
Some people win by losing. Franz Siegel was a German who chose the wrong side in the German Revolution and was driven from his home country twice to Switzerland. Finally, even Switzerland wouldn't keep him. It tried to ship him to America. He wound up in England. Then he came to Missouri. Knowing the trouble Siegel had going where he was supposed to go and staying once he arrived, his story as a Civil War general here might be better understood. We'll tell that story in a minute. During the Civil
This episode of First Cup is brought to you by Wishing Stars Native Creations, Fine Art Today, and Marshall Woodworking. Check out these companies and many more by going to the Friends page at tinyurl.com/Gunther's House or tinyurl.com/Gunther Mobile.
stood. We'll tell that story in a minute. During the Civil War, Franz Sigel became a general, although his most famous tactic was the retreat. It seemed almost every time he retreated, he got promoted. Contemporaries have described him in such glowing terms as inept and hopeless. Franz Sigel had been a chief adjutant in the Grand Duke's army in Germany, but he favored a unified Germany, and he joined the Baden Revolt of 1848. But royal troops beat him in a crucial battle, and he retreated to Switzerland. When the insurrection was resumed in 1849, he returned to Germany, was beaten again, retreated to Switzerland once more. Switzerland finally expelled him, and he ultimately came to Missouri. And he quickly became a leader of the German population here, in St. Louis. As the war approached, he was instrumental in arousing German loyalty to the Union. Sigel organized a battery and an infantry regiment to help take the St. Louis Arsenal and Camp Jackson under Nathaniel Lyon. He was ordered to the southwest part of Missouri to keep the retreating Sterling Price from linking up with Confederate forces in Arkansas. He finally attacked Price and Jackson's army near Carthage, uncertain of the Confederate strength, outnumbered 4-1, and he retreated. He was criticized for his actions at Wilson's Creek, where his men reached a deserted camp near the Confederate headquarters but broke ranks and started plundering it. When the Confederates moved in on Sigel's disorganized troops, they took 250 Union prisoners and the regimental flag. Sigel retreated to Springfield. When criticized later for failing to stay and fight, he said most of his men were fighting on extended enlistments anyway, that their 3-month terms had ended before the fight, and he had to personally plead for them to stay. Many of them were raw recruits, he said, and about 2/3 of the officers were already gone because of his handling of retreats, but also, one suspects, as much an effort to keep the Germans interested in the Union. He was promoted to brigadier general. At the Battle of Pea Ridge in Arkansas, Sigel again was a problem. When ordered to abandon his camp in Bentonville, he delayed and was almost cut off by the Confederates. Had they not delayed as long as he had, Sigel's unit would have been badly damaged. As it was, he had to make a fighting retreat, and another unit had to come to his aid. Later, when the Confederates were retreating, Sigel pursued and took 200 prisoners, and for this distinguished service he was promoted to Major General and transferred east, where he took command of the 1st Corps of General John Pope's Army of Virginia. He was instrumental in stopping Stonewall Jackson on the first day of the Second Battle of Bull Run, but on the second day the Union forces were beaten, and Sigel again retreated. He was put in command at Harper's Ferry, the Union arsenal, when the Confederate General Jubal Early launched a move to take it. Sigel had his unit at Martinsburg, Virginia, a terrible position. Early planned to surround him, cut off his escape routes, and smash him. But Early had not counted on Sigel's lack of nerve. As soon as word came of what Early planned to do, Sigel defied military customs and decided to retreat, leaving behind many stores to be captured by Confederates. He was relieved of the command, went to Pennsylvania, resigned his commission, and in May of 1865 went into newspapering and some politics. He died in 1902 at the age of 77. Now, Franz Sigel reminds us that a good retreat is an important military strategy, for one must live to fight again if one is ultimately to win. Franz Sigel was the kind of leader who made sure his men could fight one more time. Franz Sigel, the retreating general from Missouri, was born on this date, November the 18th, in 1824.
There, I redeemed myself. The correct version of today's Across the World, Missouri from the Missouri Net. Turns out what happened, I forgot to update my bookmark, and I set it for October when I set it up, and I thought I chose the right month, and I didn't. I just went, I'll go for the 18th, click that one, that's good. And that's what happened. Anyway, I just got to thinking about another story over the weekend, something that happened yesterday when I was watching the SVU Marathon on the USA Network. Well, during one of the episodes, they had a phone that was ringing in the background. Now, normally, I don't fall for this. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I can remember falling for something like this, of this magnitude. Well, anyway, I was cooking supper, and I heard the phone ring. And I thought, well, I wonder who's calling me at this hour. Oh, well, I'll go check. And the phone kept ringing. I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, there's nothing showing from the caller ID. That's weird. I got closer, and I realized it was the phone on the TV. Turns out that the ringtone was identical to my ringtone on my cell phone. And so I'm sitting there and thinking, oh, Joe, I just pulled a Gunther on that one. Instead of going barking, though, I went looked for it thinking, oh, I got a phone call. Then I realized, nope, just the TV. Just the TV. Anyway, let's roll on with this edition of First Cup. Coming up in just a moment, I'll have popular tweets of the day, as well as the song of the day. Right now, though, what do you say we take a look at News of the Weird? Because that's fun to do, isn't it? All right. And in News of the Weird today, Canadian police took 55 marijuana plants from a nursing home. The pot-growing operation sparked a fire, and firefighters alerted police after responding to the blaze. Police say that the plants would make about, get this, 275,000, that's right, 275,000 joints. So far, no arrests have been made. You know that funny green shredded stuff at the top of some Jell-O? Makes me think marijuana. Anyway, that's the news of the weird for this Monday. Now, he's back in the news once again, and I'm talking about Alec Baldwin. Of course, a few weeks ago, he started a new show on MSNBC. I never got to see it, and from the sound of things, I won't be able to get to see it. So now it's time for popular tweets of the day. Kind of hate to cut this theme off now that I've got it over halfway done, so might as well just finish it out. So we'll let that run and tell you that the latest market information that I have for you, because I got an app here that will do that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now up 32 hundredths of a point at I was reading that. Let's try that again. And Dow Jones Industrial's now at 15,783. Wait a minute, that's not right. Excuse me. That is weird. The outside of the app was giving me new information. The inside was showing me what was on the close on the 11th. That's the last time I accessed this app. And now it won't refresh because it keeps saying that Bing Finance is offline. Okay. And now the app crashed. Well, never mind. Let's find out what's on Twitter. Boy, this show's gone to hell in the last half hour.
And you can always follow me on Twitter.
Hello, computer. Just use the keyboard. The keyboard? How quaint.
And in popular tweets of the day, ever angry Alec Baldwin says his foul-mouthed homophobic tirades against the media might be his parting words. The fuming 30 Rock star announced that he was willing to abandon show business to keep his wife and kids out of the media glare. Well, this announcement came after MSNBC yanked the actor's talk show up late with Alec Baldwin from its schedule following the release of a video in which Mr. Baldwin directed an anti-gay slur at a photographer who was snapping pictures of Baldwin's family. Well, I've gone to the Twitter to see what people had to say. Richard Roper writes, tonight on Fox 5, reaction to the reaction to our reaction to Alec Baldwin's reaction and the weather. Billy Eichner writes, you guys, Alec Baldwin could leave show business at any moment. Tell the people you love that you love them. You never know what's going to happen. I think Billy has some other issues there. Jordan D. writes, how does Alec Baldwin keep his career? If I were Mel Gibson, I'd take advice from Baldwin. And finally, Ed Lee writes, Alec Baldwin has now had to make more public apologies than Jack Donaghy ever had Tracy Jordan make. And those are the popular tweets of the day. Now it's time for my favorite portion of the show, a little segment I like to call the Song of the Day. And once again, I've reached back into my childhood for this one, because this was a popular song when I was in grade school. I Wouldn't Have Missed It for the World is the title of a song written by Charles Quillen, Kai Fleming, and Dennis Morgan, and recorded by American country music singer Ronnie Millsap. It was released in October of 1981. as the second single from the album There's No